How are you?
Hi, Manuel. Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm curious to have you here today and glad that you joined our little Minimal series. And yes, do you want to introduce yourself in the beginning to our audience?
Yeah, sure. We've known each other for a while, so we're more than happy to share something about my background. So I'm Eric Wenzel. I'm a senior partner at Korn Ferry, and I'm based out of Hamburg in Germany. And my main area of expertise is in executive assessment and executive development, a space in which I've been working for the past 25 or so years, mostly in EMEA, Asia, and North America. And one specific area of interest for me is working with senior teams which are not productive or which have to deal with a great amount of change.
That's quite an impressive background, Eric. And now you just said working with senior teams. I think you also brought a case or a challenge with a senior team that you want or that we can discuss today.
Yes, I did. So you asked me about something that was a particularly interesting situation that I've been through over the past 12 months. And certainly one thing springs to mind. It was work with a newly formed board, which had been through a merger, and colleagues had been formed to become a new team. And the main challenges this team encountered was that they fairly ineffective in the way they collaborated with each other. And so I was wondering what to do with this group. And in my experience, such a situation calls for a very individualized form of intervention where you take the group and what they are currently dealing with seriously. And therefore, I decided to avoid an approach which would have rested on the notion of predefined models of what productive boards should be doing. And instead, I decided to take an approach which didn't rest on a certain agenda, because I wanted to create the space for an open dialogue, which is something that can provoke very strong feelings in people. But I decided to do it anyway, because in my experience, it's the only way for conversations to happen that the group wouldn't have otherwise. So you come together, you sit in a circle, and there is nobody telling the group what they ought to be doing, which can result in long silences, but also in heated debate and even conflict. So you have to be prepared to do it guerrilla style. And what I mean by that is that you change your position from that of an expert consultant to that of convener, who is focused on reading the room and to respond to evolving dynamics as they arise, ultimately to help the group make better sense of what's going on for them.
That sounds very like a new approach or like an unconventional approach. Now I'm interested about how did it go when you go there in this executive meeting without any agenda.
Yeah, it provoked, as I thought, it provoked quite strong emotions in people, because when you go there as a consultant, people of course rely on you, that you structure the day for them, that you come up with something that they can also lean on in terms of what they are supposed to be doing over the course of a full day. Usually boards are used to working with in a very structured environments, and when you go there and don't provide that structure, then of course all kinds of things can happen. And the way that I work is mostly informed by group dynamics and also some aspects of the complexity sciences. And one of the interesting insights when you work with that as a backdrop is that you become very aware of the fact that those dynamics that you become aware of within this particular group setting are actually a reflection of what's going on in the organization at large. And the main thrust of this way of working is to support the group in working towards the ability to cope with the strong emotions that are being called out through this way of working, ultimately to evolve a more mature form of dealing with each other, but then also with other people in other group settings.
Okay. And what now I can imagine like how you worked with this group, and the emotions were there and there was a better understanding of the emotions. But at the end, what would you say was the result like of the whole exercise for the firm, for the client?
Yeah. So I was booked for having 3 sessions with the board, and so the amount of time that was given was rather short. But I would say that the result was nonetheless quite remarkable, because within 2 sessions, the board began to gain clarity around one particular issue, which one might call the paradox of overcommitment. By that I mean that the group discovered that some of the unproductive ways of working together were caused by the fact that some people felt compelled to shoulder too many tasks, but up to a point where they couldn't perform any of these tasks well. And that insight mattered to this particular group, as it allowed them to detach from the immersion and not be too focused on taking to action without contemplating the long-term consequences of these actions. The open discussions fostered a more effective team environment, I would say, and by the third session, the group had begun to have to create spillover effects, so to speak, for how group members worked in other team settings. That's at least what they reported. And I think that is particularly crucial when you work in a post-merger integration, when people are expected to hit the ground and start running quickly, but at the same time, structures, teams, and plans are not yet fully fleshed out. So in a way, working in this way helped the group also to work with the uncertainty that they were encountering in other aspects of their work, because everything was new for them through the merger.
Fascinating. So really impactful work you've done there with the client, and also this clear client feedback. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I'm now also curious what other consultants say about it, if they maybe made similar experience, or if the people get already get really scared only thinking about entering an executive meeting without an agenda. And yeah, please comment or share your thoughts. What do you think about this topic? And Eric, once again, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me, Manuel. Bye-bye. Cheers.